In the quiet moments before nightfall, the shadows stretch long and the world seems to pause. There is a stirring in the unseen, a whisper that hums beneath the surface of ordinary life. This is no ordinary evening, and the stillness you sense is not mere silence. It carries a weight, a purpose, a message meant for you alone. If your heart has ever leaned into the belief that there is more beyond what eyes can see, if you've ever wondered about the gentle nudges of intuition or the quiet ache of anticipation in your spirit, then let these words settle into your soul. What unfolds tonight is not chance. It is a convergence, a divine alignment, a moment where the veil between what is hidden and what is revealed grows thin. The clock ticks closer to an awakening, and you are standing at the edge of a truth that has been veiled for too long. You felt it, the restlessness, the unexplained fatigue, the sense that something vital lingers just beyond your grasp. These are not random fragments of emotion, but signposts, guiding you toward a reckoning that has been orchestrated across time. The weariness you carry isn't born of mere physical strain. It's a heaviness that seeps into your bones, a fog that clouds your thoughts, a deliberate distraction meant to keep you from seeing what stirs in the shadows. For too long, forces you've not fully understood have worked to dim your light, to keep you drifting in a half-sleep where clarity feels just out of reach. But this is not your fault. You've been navigating a labyrinth designed to obscure, to confuse, to make you question your own instincts. Yet even in the haze, your spirit has sensed the shift, the subtle tremors in the foundation of what you thought was certain. Tonight that foundation cracks open. What has been buried begins to rise. Consider the unease you've dismissed, the flicker of doubt about a smile that didn't reach the eyes, the hollow ring of a promise too easily made, the nagging sense that a loved one's words carried a double meaning. These were not figments of imagination, but fragments of truth your soul recognized before your mind could catch up. Trust that intuition now. The person you've confided in, the one whose loyalty seemed unshakable, has woven threads of deception into the fabric of your relationship. Their kindness, once a comfort, has been a mask. Their motives, once unquestioned, have roots in places you'd never dare to look. But light has a way of finding even the deepest crevices, and what they've hidden, the small betrayals, the quiet thefts of your peace, the lies dressed as concern, will soon be laid bare. This revelation is not meant to paralyze you with fear, but to free you from the weight of unknowing. The confusion you've carried, the endless why that loops in your mind when sleep won't come, will begin to unravel. Patterns that never quite made sense, setbacks that felt strangely orchestrated, relationships that drained more than they gave. These were not misfortunes but clues. The universe has been trying to wake you, to pull you from the trance of complacency. Tonight it shouts where it once whispered. Pay attention to the signs around you. The clock on the wall, the flicker of a candle, the way the air in your home seems charged, these are not accidents. They are echoes of the unseen realm, where battles and breakthroughs unfold beyond human sight. Your house, a sanctuary you've built with care, has also been a stage for dramas you never auditioned for. Guests who crossed your threshold brought more than their physical presence. Some carried secrets, others envy, a few intentions that clashed with the warmth of your welcome. But their whispers, their hidden schemes, their quiet manipulations, none of it remains invisible now. The divine curtain pulls back and you'll see what was always there. This is a call to courage, not to panic. The urgency in these words isn't a threat, but an invitation to step into discernment, to trade blind trust for wisdom, to recognize that a pure heart need not be a naive one. You've loved fiercely, given generously, believed unreservedly. These are gifts, not flaws, but tonight they merge with a newfound strength, the ability to see through illusion, to protect your energy, to distinguish allies from actors. The lesson isn't to harden your heart, but to refine your sight. As the night deepens, resist the pull of exhaustion. That heaviness in your limbs, the droop of your eyelids, it's a lullaby sung by forces that fear what you might discover if you stay awake. Fight it. Brew tea, open a window, let the cool air sting your skin. What's coming requires your full presence. In the stillness, you might hear it, the creak of a floorboard where no one stands, the rustle of papers untouched by wind, a voice so faint it could be memory. These are not ghosts, but echoes of truth, reverberations of what's been concealed. Your home, your safe haven, has been a vault holding secrets. Tonight, the lock clicks open. When the revelation comes, it will not arrive with fanfare. It might be a sudden clarity as you replay a conversation, a gut-punch realization about a friend's offhand remark, not a detail in a photograph that shifts the narrative you've believed. Dit believed. However it manifests, it will feel both startling and familiar, a truth your soul has known but your mind has suppressed. And in its wake you'll wonder how you ever missed it. The pieces will snap together, the blurred edges of your life coming into focus. This is not about punishment but liberation. The lies that confined you, the half-truths that kept you small, the gaslighting that made you doubt your own reality, they lose power in the light. What felt like an ending will reveal itself as a beginning. The relationships that survive this exposure will be forged in authenticity. Those that crumble were never yours to carry. You'll grieve, yes. Betrayal cuts deep. But beneath that pain will be an undercurrent of relief, the relief of a prisoner stepping into sunlight after years in a cell they didn't realize had a door. Stay vigilant. The hours ahead are a threshold, a sacred in-between where the divine intervenes to reorder what chaos has obscured. You are not alone in this. The same intuition that nudged you toward this moment will guide you through it. When the truth surges, let it flow. Don't cling to denial or rush to justify what can't be undone. Some answers will take time. Others will land with immediate, unshakable certainty. Your role is not to control the unraveling, but to witness it, to stay awake, present, and open. By dawn, nothing will look the same. The home you knew will feel both familiar and foreign, like returning to a childhood house after decades away. You'll see cracks in the walls you once thought perfect, fingerprints on windows you believed were clean. But you'll also notice sunlight streaming through places that were always dark, corners where hope has quietly taken root. This is the gift of exposure. It clears space for what's real. Remember, this moment was never about catching you off guard. It's a culmination, a divine alignment of your readiness and heaven's timing. You've prayed for answers, for direction, for the strength to break cycles you couldn't name. Tonight, those prayers intersect with purpose. The fatigue you've battled was the growing pain of a spirit preparing to shed an old skin. The confusion was the friction of truth fighting its way to the surface. So breathe through the tremors. Let your heart race, let your hands shake. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the choice to stay present in spite of it. When the scales fall from your eyes, you'll see not just the deception, but the strength it took to endure it. You'll recognize the resilience in your spirit, the wisdom in your wounds, the light that persisted even when shadows tried to claim you. This night will mark you, but not as a victim, as a warrior, a seer, a sovereign being who chose awareness over ignorance, truth over comfort. When you look back, you'll trace the contours of this moment and understand every doubt, every sleepless night, every whispered prayer was a thread in a tapestry you're only now beginning to see. And woven through it all, like gold, is the unwavering presence of a love that never left you, never stopped fighting for you, and never let you fall too deep into the dark. The message is simple, yet vast. You are seen. You are heard. You are worth every battle being waged on your behalf. Now stay awake. The story isn't ending, it's beginning. And the next chapter demands your eyes wide open. In the hush of twilight, as the last streaks of daylight dissolve into indigo, your home becomes more than a structure of walls and windows. It transforms into a living, breathing entity, pulsing with stories etched into its foundation. The air hums with a quiet anticipation, as though the very atoms are rearranging themselves to prepare for a revelation that has been centuries in the making. This is no ordinary night. The boundary between the tangible and the unseen is thinning, like tissue paper held to a flame, and what has been obscured by shadows is poised to step into the light. You've sensed this shift in fragments, the prickling of your skin when silence grows too thick, the way your breath catches mid-sigh, as if the room itself is holding its breath. The dreams that linger upon waking like smoke, their meanings just beyond your grasp. These are not anomalies, but breadcrumbs left by a divine hand, guiding you toward a truth that will rewrite the narrative of your life. Consider the objects around you. The bookshelf crammed with well-loved novels, the rug worn thin by countless footsteps, the family photographs frozen in time, each holds energy, a residue of moments lived and words unspoken. Your home is an archive, a living museum of joys, sorrows, and secrets. But tonight it becomes a courtroom. The jury, the unseen witnesses who have watched over you, angels, guides, ancestors whose whispers you've mistaken for the wind. The defendant, the forces that have slipped through cracks in your awareness, masquerading as coincidence, settling into corners like dust. This trial is not about condemnation but liberation. The verdict? Your freedom from cycles you never consented to. You felt the weight of these cycles, the friendships that drained you under the guise of support, the opportunities that dissolved like sugar in rain, the love that left splinters in your palms. You blamed yourself, dissecting your choices under a microscope, wondering where you faltered. But here's the unvarnished truth. Not every closed door was locked by your hand. Some were sealed by energies you didn't invite but allowed to linger through hesitation, through misplaced trust, through the quiet erosion of your boundaries. The woman who praised you with one breath and undermined you with the next. The relative whose gifts came with invisible strings. The colleague who mirrored your ambitions but carried a knife behind their back. They were not mere players in your story. They were conduits, vessels for a deeper friction between light and shadow that you're now called to resolve. This is not a call to arms but to awareness. Imagine your spirit as a lighthouse. For years its beam has rotated faithfully, guiding ships through storms, unaware that some vessels were pirates, not pilgrims. Tonight, you're handed the lens to adjust its focus. The light you cast will no longer illuminate predators as allies. It will reveal their flags, their intentions, the rot in their hulls. This recalibration begins not with grand gestures, but with the quiet power of a single question. What have I tolerated under the guise of grace? The answer may unsettle you. That heirloom clock passed down through generations, its chimes now a discordant echo at midnight. It isn't broken, it's a relay, amplifying frequencies from a past you weren't meant to inherit. The guest room that always feels colder than the rest of the house, though the vents are clear. It's not a draft, but a residue, a fingerprint left by someone who smiled at your table while quietly resenting your light. These are not metaphors. They are fingerprints of a spiritual reality, where emotions calcify into energy, and energy molds the physical world. Your task is not to fear these truths, but to curate them, to decide what stays and what is released back into the ether. Prayer here is less a ritual than a recalibration. It's the act of tuning your frequency to match the hum of the divine, like a violinist threading their bow to the resonance of a tuning fork. When you whisper, "Nothing that does not belong here will remain," you're not pleading with the heavens, you're commanding the atmosphere. Words in the unseen realm are not sounds, but sculpting tools. Each syllable chisels away at the illusions that have cluttered your space. The lie that you must earn peace through exhaustion, shattered. The myth that love requires naivety, dissolved. The fear that protecting your energy makes you unkind, incinerated. Var. Let's speak plainly about the woman who's lingered in the periphery of your thoughts. She is not a monster, but a mirror, reflecting the parts of yourself you've yet to reclaim, the assertiveness you muted to keep the peace, the discernment you suppressed to avoid appearing harsh. Her interference is not a punishment, but a divine nudge to confront your own complicity in allowing such energies to roam unchecked. Her fate is not yours to manage. The angels tasked with your protection have already begun dissolving her influence like sugar in hot tea. Your role is not to confront her, but to cease offering her a seat at your table. This is where the rubber meets the road. Spiritual authority isn't wielded in the abstract. It's exercised in the daily choice to mute the voices that no longer serve you, both internal and external. It's deleting the contact that drains you under the guise of connection. It's donating the trinket that hums with a dissonant energy. It's rewriting the narrative that pain is penance and peace must be earned. Your home is not a hotel for wayward spirits or misplaced loyalties. It is a temple, and you are its high priestess, ordained not by man but by the divine to cleanse its halls with the ferocity of a wildfire and the precision of a surgeon. The exhaustion you've carried, it's the soul's equivalent of labor pains. You're not collapsing, you're birthing a new version of yourself, one that refuses to confuse martyrdom with strength, silence with wisdom, or endurance with purpose. The fog in your mind isn't a malfunction, but a veil, thinning as the divine pulls it aside to reveal panoramas of clarity. When the heaviness lifts, and it will, you'll marvel at how accustomed you'd grown to the weight, like a diver who'd forgotten the feel of sunlight after years in the ocean's depths. Tonight's revelation is not a bomb, but a key. It unlocks rooms within your spirit you've kept boarded up, chambers where intuition was stored, where discernment gathered dust, but where your voice lay wrapped in layers of what will they think. As you turn this key, light floods these spaces, and you'll meet the self you've always been beneath the layers of compromise. She is fierce. She is unapologetic. She knows that boundaries are holy, and that not every apology deserves acceptance. The divine presence you've sensed like a warmth against your back during sleepless nights, is not a crutch but a collaborator. Imagine it as a dance partner, one who steps in rhythm with your moves but never leads unless invited. When you declare, "This ends tonight," heaven's hosts echo the decree, amplifying it across dimensions. The cracks in your walls, the flicker of the bulbs, the sudden chill, they are not omens but confirmations. The spiritual realm's way of whispering, "We're working." Resist the urge to complicate this. You need no elaborate rituals, no sacred oils, no chants in ancient tongues. Your authority is inherent, woven into your DNA like strands of stardust. Simply walk through each room, lay your palm on the doorframes, and speak with the certainty of one who knows their worth. What serves love stays. What breeds chaos departs. Then open the windows, literal and metaphorical, and let the wind carry what no longer belongs. As for the objects holding hidden histories, the jewelry box from a friend whose envy you ignored, the painting from a lover who left ghosts in their wake, handle them with grace, but without nostalgia. Thank them for their lessons, then release them. Let the thrift store or the trash bin become their next home. Your space must hold only what aligns with the future you're calling in, a future where every item, every relationship, every thought is a deliberate choice, not a passive inheritance. When dawn breaks, pay attention to the quality of the light. It will feel different, cleaner, sharper, as though the sun itself has been waiting for this moment to reintroduce its rays to a home unburdened. The air will taste lighter, the colors richer, the silence more melodic. This is not imagination. It's the physical world catching up to the spiritual shift. You'll notice practical changes too: the email that finally arrives, the apology that's offered without prompting, the chance encounter that opens a door you'd prayed over. These are not coincidences but confirmations, divine winks assuring you the process is working. To the woman who sought to unsettle you, send silent gratitude. She was the catalyst, the grit in the oyster that forced the pearl to form. Her role in your story ends here, not with a bang but with a whisper, as her influence evaporates like morning dew. The friends who remain will feel different, safer, more resonant, as though their voices now harmonize with your spirit. Those who drift away were never anchors but buoys, and their absence creates space for souls who match your newfound frequency. This journey is not a one-night event but a blueprint. The vigilance you cultivate tonight will become a lifelong practice, a sacred rhythm of discernment and release. You'll learn to spot invaders early, the compliment that carries a barb, the favor that comes with hooks, the gift that demands payment in guilt. Your home will become a fortress, not of stone but of light, its boundaries firm yet invisible, its gates open to joy but closed to anything that seeks to dim your radiance. Sleep, when it comes, will be a sacrament, not the restless tossing of a mind at war but the deep, replenishing rest of a warrior who's faced the battle and knows the victory is secure. Dreams may come vivid, lucid, filled with symbols that feel like love letters from the divine. A key, a broom, a door swinging open on its own. These are not random images but maps, guiding you toward your next steps. In the days ahead, you'll catch yourself pausing at the threshold of old patterns, smiling as you choose differently. The reflex to people please will dissolve like mist, replaced by a serene no thank you that feels like power. The urge to over-explain will quiet, replaced by a silence that speaks volumes. This is the fruit of tonight's labor, the emergence of a self who trusts her intuition like a compass and her boundaries like a shield. Let's address the practicalities. When unease creeps in a visitor's backhanded compliment, a gift that feels off, pause. Place your hand over your heart and ask, does this belong? If your spirit tightens, act. Return the gift. Redirect the conversation. Cancel the plans. This is not rudeness but stewardship, a sacred duty to protect the sanctuary you fought to reclaim. The angels assigned to you are not ethereal bystanders but active allies. They're in the details, the song that plays as you cleanse your space, the sudden urge to call a forgotten friend, the book that falls open to a passage that pierces your soul. Their language is synchronicity, their presence a steady hum beneath life's noise. Talk to them, not with formality but as collaborators. Show me what needs to go. Highlight what's been hidden. Then watch as clues emerge, a flickering light bulb near a problematic object, a name that pops up 3 times in a day, a dream where you're handed a broom. Finally, release the need to control the aftermath. The divine operates in spirals, not lines. Some revelations will land like boulders, others like seeds taking root in slow motion. Trust the timing. Pour a cup of tea, light a candle, and breathe. You've done the work. Now let the universe handle the logistics. When history tries to repeat itself, as it often does, you'll recognize the script. The same type of person will approach, but this time you'll see the glint of the hook beneath their bait. The same kind of offer will arise, but you'll detect the strings attached. This is progress. This is growth. This is the reward for staying awake when the world begged you to sleep. Your home is now a living testament to what happens when courage meets faith. The walls remember your declarations, the floors bear witness to your resolve, and the air carries the imprint of your prayers. Future generations will walk these rooms and feel it, a lingering strength, a whisper of someone loved themselves here, fiercely and without apology. So let the night unfold. Let the angels work. Let the shadows retreat. And when morning comes, step into the light of a life where your peace is non-negotiable, your boundaries are unassailable, and your home is a mirror reflecting the very best of who you are and who you've always been beneath the layers of the unworthy and the untrue.